Hi, my name is Matt Good, and I want to tell you my story about how it gets better. I grew up on the eastern shore of Maryland and was raised as part of the Mennonite church. And growing up in the church, I was taught that homosexuality was a sin, it was perverted. Of course, you'd go to hell for being gay. And one of the most important teachings that they taught, of course, was that it was also a choice. And I carried that with me throughout my life, that belief. And so when I got older and started developing sexual fantasies, um, I realized they all revolved around guys. I wasn't thinking about women. And because of that belief, though, I believed that I really wasn't gay. I was just a straight guy who was being tempted. And if I just resisted temptation and prayed a little harder and, just tried a little harder, that those problems would go away. So at the age of 23, I got married and thought that that was part of the process, that would help with some of those thoughts and temptations. And flash forward 6 years later, I'm still married. I have a 1-year-old son at that point, and all those thoughts and temptations, they really didn't go away. So at the age of 29, I met a guy and developed romantic feelings and finally had to come to terms with myself, to be honest with myself, and for the first time admit that, in fact, I actually was gay. It wasn't a choice that I was making. It was something that was just part of me. I was born that way, and despite all the trying that I did, I just couldn't be straight. So after coming out to myself, I then had to come out to my wife and explain the situation that I had found myself in, and confessing that I needed to start over, that the life that I had built for myself, and the life that I tried to fit the mold of was just not for me. So it was a really rough process. That was 3 years ago. Coming out to my family was not in agreement with my decision at all, or with my belief that I was simply just gay. But they did support me in the fact that as a person who was trying to make a transition in life, they still were there to support me. And that meant the world. The church was a little bit of a different story. For them, it was a choice that I had to take a vow of celibacy and in order to remain part of their community. And I chose not to. So I lost my standing and my membership with the Mennonite church, but I was left at that point with fragments of a previous life. I had, really nothing to go off of. I had such an identity that was formed from other people's opinions of how I should live my life. And here I am at this point at the age of 29, really having to decide then, like, what is my identity? And it was really hard. It was really rough. And I ended up moving to Silver Spring, which is in Maryland, just outside DC. Got a new job, new location, part of a community that was very accepting of LGBT people, and made new friends. And I can tell you 3 years later, things in fact do get better. I still am able to see my son regularly, so of course that one prior aspect of my previous life I get to hold on to dearly, but in a different way now too, to be a dad who is authentic, who is himself, and can teach his son that it's okay to be yourself and to love yourself for who you are. There's only one of you. And this is what I hope that I can convey in this message. That the best thing in life is to simply be yourself. And the worst thing I can tell you from my own experience, at least, is that the worst thing in life is to try to be someone else and to fit another mold. There is nothing for me that was more lonely and more isolating and harder than trying to be someone that I'm not. I lived many years like that, and I can tell you that despite the hardship that I had to go through to get to where I am now, with the process of coming out, being married, and with a child, and part of a very strict religious community, it's worth it. And the other thing I really just want to get across then is that no matter where you are in life, whether you're in your teenage years, if you're in your 20s, beyond your 20s into another decade, it's never too late to start being yourself and to live authentically, and there's nothing better than that. So I just urge you, if you're at that crossroads in life and you're wondering, is this the time when I should make that transition to be authentic? I hope you do, and I hope that soon you're able to see just how important it is for yourself. And for wherever you are in your journey, I wish you the best.